Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Please grab a seat. We'd love to have you join our session here this morning. Make yourself comfortable, please. Welcome to the Capgemini stage. This is a live stage program that will be running all week. And this week, we'll be telling a number of stories on this stage all about the connected future. That's really what we're here about here at Capgemini this week at Mobile World Congress. To start us off this morning, we have a really interesting presentation on an area around protecting vulnerable road users. Vulnerable road users are bicyclists, pedestrians, moto scooter users. And to get us kicked off, I'd like to turn it over to Rajat Kapoor to get us started.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Rajat Kapoor. I am from the software frameworks team within Capgemini Engineering. So first of all, a very warm welcome to MWC. I think first day, first show. So I think you should be live and kicking out there. Well, what are we talking today? So we'll be talking about two very important topics, which are very near and dear to Capgemini. One is sustainability, and second is connectivity. So we'll be talking about these two topics. So, well, what are the micro objectives which we are looking at here? So when we talk about sustainability, we actually want more bike users out there. Well, so less traffic, less pollution, that's what we are looking for. But what do these bike users look for? They actually look for safety when they are on the road out there. So that's what our micro objective here is. And how are we enabling that? We're actually using CV2X as a technology for the bike. You would have seen CV2X being used as a technology for the fast moving cars out there. But our objective is to actually take it to the bike users so that the cars can actually see the bikes can see the cars, and that's where you actually will bring a secure corridor for the bike users out there. So who do we have here? So I bring on stage my partner in crime, well, my dear friend and CEO of Spoke Safety, to talk about how we together are enabling this. Thank you.
Thanks,
All
Rajat.
yours.
Thank you. To a smattering of applause. Good morning. Welcome to 2023 Mobile World Congress. Thank you, Rajat. It's a pleasure to be here. We've been doing business with Capgemini really since the inception of the company about 2.5 years ago. Spoke was born on the premise, as Rajat intimated, on cars and bikes seeing each other digitally and leveraging technology that exists in the current world that's really made for vehicle to vehicle or vehicle to infrastructure communication. What we've done is shrunk down that form factor and allowed bicycles, motorcycles, and scooters to enter into that connected ecosystem. So with that, I'll show you guys some really cool stuff that we're doing. A lot of this is really just launching here at MWC. It's becoming public knowledge. So first and foremost, our partnership with Audi. We've announced that about a year ago. We've been doing global demonstrations of this technology, which is woven into what we call their instrument cluster. So as you guys can see, that is the first time in human history that you've got a digital connection, a bicycle on the left alert or right alert coming directly into the instrument cluster of that Audi. The backdrop is just we've got a huge problem. I'll throw out some stats that are both heartbreaking and troubling at the same time, allows us to understand why we're so focused on this technology. 37% increase in bicycle fatalities over the last 10 years in North America. Germany, France are experiencing 40+% increases of fatalities. It's a huge problem. And at the foundational level of that problem is cars just don't see the bikes. And 72% of every fatality that involves a vehicle and a vulnerable road user, the driver says, I didn't see them. It's a huge number, a huge number. So with this technology, we can start to allow those drivers to see those cyclists digitally in a contextual awareness type of way that's non-invasive, which I'll show you. Clearly a huge market opportunity. We don't need to spend a lot of time here, but you guys can see with really, I think there's 46 million bicycles sold in North America and Europe every year compared to 32 million vehicles. So that was a stat I wasn't aware of as well. 4 billion bikes in the world that are in service, largely, if not exclusively, unconnected. So what do? We together with Capgemini, have put together a global ecosystem of partners because this is the type of business that requires really a great deal of partnerships and cooperation. Why? Because scale and intention matter. We're far beyond proof of concept. We're far beyond demonstration. We're now into the scale and intentional deployment of this technology. So as you can see, from AWS to Deutsche T-Mobile, you guys can go see our connected bikes at the Deutsche T-Mobile booth with all of the technology. You can see who we're launching with between Trek, BMC, Qualcomm as a chipset provider, just a really, really large global ecosystem of partners that allow this to happen. Clearly, the market is ready for this, which is really why we've talked about this. But form factor, it used to be a 2.5 foot by 2.5 foot box, and what we've done is we've shrunk it down into a bike light form factor. So people are buying bike lights just in the hope that they're being seen. So now you've got LTE, CV to X, all housed within a bike light that's allowing both 10 times per second communication to vehicles and infrastructure. This allows you to go into freight and logistics, etc. And this is a full integration with Pinarello. So this has it built into the bike as an example. Clearly, the bike industry is ready for scale and intention as well. Why? Because we're out there getting killed. I'll show you now if I can. Yes, I'll be quiet. This is for the first time ever that you guys are going to get to see use case. This was coming out of a parking garage, 2 bikes from behind, already contextually aware that there's bikes behind you. And the next, it elevates and it tells you exactly that they're on the left. And then this Audi, that door will not unlock and you will not be able to pull out into traffic, obviously ushering in level 3, level 4, level 5 autonomous. That is the number 3 killer of cyclists on Earth. Just the door opening or just a car pulling out and didn't realize there was a bike behind him. Next.
All right, I'm starting.
Number 1 killer of bicyclists in addition to the right hook. So think about when you're making your right turn, you didn't know that there was a bicyclist coming. This is what we call intersection movement assist. You're going to get a bicycle on the left alert directly into the instrument cluster well before LiDAR, radar, camera technology ever could, right there. Here they come into view. It elevates if you don't pay attention, and that's when you get more of a haptic or an audio alert in the Audi. So you guys see it, super functional, non-invasive, something that you're used to seeing in a vehicle anyways. Form factors. There's a Connect for the aftermarket, meaning no bike left behind. There's the embedded, when shipping with our partners inside the frame, right? That means connectivity comes with that bicycle purchase. This is aftermarket, here, embedded. And obviously it can be displayed via API on any mobile phone or built into the bicycle computer as it comes from the factory. So giving lots of options of how they're going to be alerted. Clearly from an existing ecosystem perspective, a couple of things are important to us. You know, we started out with traditional mobility and then we added connected car technology, which took about a decade to implement. And we're really trying to usher in this autonomous world. And with a fidelity of a bicycle, scooter, motorcycle being able to say 10 times per second, here I am, you're really ushering in this quadrant here because it's another high fidelity data point in addition to LiDAR or camera or radar technology. What else we got here? Freight and logistics, easy to see how this goes into these guys. They have longer life cycles, what we call in the industry. So they typically last about 10 to 12 years in the industry. So our partners at Qualcomm are distributing into that. You can see in North America, all of the deployment of connected vehicle technology, disproportionate amount. It's a very similar heat map in Europe. Our partners that we're launching with, of course, ushered in by the ITS stack with Capgemini. Product portfolio unlocks a whole bunch of digital services. You might ask yourself, why would a bicycle company want to launch this just for safety and safety alone? Not really. They're launching this because that connectivity unlocks a whole direct digital relationship with the end user for the first time. So really transformative, disruptive, really in the bicycle industry in particular. We're seeing a very similar trajectory with a vehicle when you used to have a StarTAC and a TomTom suction cup, and then it went into the center stack, and then you had connected services that were unlocked, and now it becomes standard, right? In the bicycle industry, what we're seeing is we're expediting that. So it used to be very analog, and we're introducing connected digital services in addition to the safety alerts. Over-the-air updates is a massive way that this is scaling. This is our example with our partnership with General Motors. They did an OTA, which allowed mapping layer to vehicles that previously did not have navigation. But embedded in that, they put the Spotify application. So you can now have Spotify. We're doing a very similar over-the-air update, and in the mapping layer, you're going to get to have these type of alerts directly tied into the mapping layer. Ducati and Harley Davidson, obviously you can see how this is valuable for motorcycles as well. There's the API pull into their existing screen, and that's as fast as I can get through you guys. So, questions? Questions on what we're doing and why we're doing it?
Questions for Jared?
Thorough. I was thorough enough.
You actually went too fast.
I guess so. Yeah. So the question was anything already commercial? So that rear-facing bike light is launching in 2024. That's going to go through distribution channels of brick and mortars, as you can imagine. So that's the No Bike Left Behind. So most of the independent bike dealers in North America and Europe, we have distribution agreements with. You sign on for those connected services which come with that bike light, and you're off to the races. 2025 is when it's launching in frame as part of the purchase of the bicycle. Always the technology curve is what we're riding, right? So it's going to be more expensive out of the gates because the volume is not there. We've got 1.5 million units committed in 2024, and 2025 it doubles. So where we are from a price point, that rear-facing light sits right between a Garmin Varia, which is at the top end of the market, which is a radar technology light, about $399 US MSRP. We're going $299. So we're going to be right at that area, obviously adding a lot more value and hopefully at a lower cost. From an embedded perspective, the cost is somewhere between $49 and $99 in the frame.
Any other questions for Jared? Jared, some of the challenges, can you talk about some of the challenges you face working with the automotive companies to get it integrated?
Yeah, always. I mean, getting things like this off the ground are always the challenge of again, scale and intention. So we've selected Audi, Ford, and General Motors as our out-of-the-gates partners. They have both the volume and scale to make this really valuable. The second thing I would add is that it's really easy to overlook that you need to have only new vehicles, but that ability to go backwards to those 300 million vehicles that have 4G, LTE, 5G embedded already, we can communicate backwards to about 2016 vehicles. 18, it became standard, and now there's not a lot of vehicles being made without a SIM card, so that level of communication we can reach backwards in time for. But again, this is betting on also C-V2X being launched into the future. So we're a synthesis of both LTE, 5G, and C-V2X chipsets, and they're all embedded in the product portfolio.
All right, final call. Any questions? Jared, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.